Hey, looking for great sound and video quality for your motovlogging? I've got the answer. Follow along and I'll show you how I do my setup. I've got two mic minis that are going to record the exhaust and the vlogging in my crash helmet. I use these in conjunction with the transmitter. You need one of these because that will pick up the two channels. My Osmo Action 4 with the adapter, so I can record two channels at the same time and get amazing sounding videos like you're going to see now.
This is a view and a half up here. Come over the brow of the hill. Look at that. Look at that. Look. Wow. That is beautiful. You never get tired of this view. Okay, come on. We can take these guys. Bit of a gang. The microphone in my back pocket is working, so I can get the engine sound. I always lose a bit of time when I'm switching all the cameras on and stuff, because I'm not on the throttle. I don't keep up with the guides, so I have to then switch everything on and then catch up to them. Alright, there we go, caught up to them at last. Just as the twists end. On the right side of the road. So that was in England then. I just stopped and went back to film this bit again because it's just so nice. It's just like, look. Whee! Look. It's just lovely. Get a nice little rhythm.
With regards to the settings on the Osmo Action 4, there's a couple of resolutions I normally film in, but the best one I think really for social media, I film at 2.7 and 16.9 aspect ratio and 25 frames per second. You sometimes can go to 30, but that will give you the motion blur that we're all used to having on our films. So that's the resolution. Swipe down from there, and then on the right hand side here you've got the buttons on there that brings up the pro mode, etc., exposure. So if you don't see that one, you can press the pro mode button there. That brings up some more options. Normally I leave the exposure on auto. You can actually do that on manual, but I tend to leave it on auto, and with the EV value at minus 0.3, I leave it at that because it tends to come out natural colors quite bright, not overexposed, but I leave that as minus just to counteract that. With the ISO, I leave that with a range between 100 and 3200, and that will allow me to be able to ride in sunny weather. And then also if I'm going through trees and forests and it's a bit darker, then it will actually on auto mode, it will actually increase the ISO and it won't be so dark. So I leave it on that, and that's always finds a good setting. So you just confirm on that. With the white balance, I normally leave that rather than automatic. I put it on manual and I leave it at 5600. That will actually control the main temperature of the camera image, so it can make it like warmer or colder, bluer, sunny. 5600 is a sunny day, so I leave it on that. With the color, I leave it on normal now. I used to go into D-Log M, and that would then mean I'd have to color grade it in DaVinci Resolve afterwards, but it's actually quite a lot of work, and I find that the colors on normal are really nice, and especially with an ND filter, and I've got 16 and 32 ND filters and polarizing filters, that actually pops the colors really nicely in the clouds and the sky, etc. Field of view, there's two options. You've got wide and ultra wide. For motovlogging, ultra wide gives you the best wide view of the handlebars, your hands, and also when you're riding along, it will give an impression of speed because things will come whizzing past you at the side, and it makes it look a lot nicer. We've got some custom adjustments here for sharpness and noise reduction. I normally leave the sharpness at -1, -2, just to take the sharpness off the edge. The noise reduction, -1, -2 again. That would just basically make it a bit softer on the images there. Tap the bars again, you'll get onto the speaker, the mic minis. If you have it on stereo or mono, obviously you're just recording stereo and 2 or mono and 1. So leave it on stereo. That will then connect your mic mini 1 and mic mini 2. Noise reduction I leave off, so I don't want any sort of weird sounding things going on there. So there's basically the settings I have on the camera, and that will give me, generally speaking, really nice images. For YouTube and social media, you don't need it, for 4K, 8K or more, so it's just standard settings, and I think that will work. It gives you enough of an allowance and variety of the exposure and the shots that it will cater for most of the riding that you're going to be doing wherever you are. When it comes to mounting the gear, the little mic minis come with a magnet on the back. So what you want to do with the crash helmet, inside, just offset from the front there, if you tape the magnet to your crash helmet using some gaffer tape, that means you can just get the mini mic and just snap it into place. It will magnetize in there. That's one. So this one I'll be putting in the back of my jacket, so you'll record the exhaust. And then with the camera, with the mics, they don't actually connect wirelessly, both of them, so you can need to use the adapter, which is on the side here, plugged in with a wire, and that plugs into the receiver. Now that can just snap onto the front mount, and then I put a bit of Velcro on the side here and that on the side of the crash helmet, and then that allows me to put that on like so. Now with the receiver, you want to put the gain down to -12. You've got -12, -6 and 0, and then it goes up to +6 and +12. Put it on -12 because it won't clip. It will record slightly less. It doesn't clip out and get too loud, and you can always increase the volume when you're in post-production using DaVinci Resolve or whatever system you use to do your editing afterwards. And basically that's the setup with the camera gear and the two microphones, and you'll find that that will give you really good sound and really good quality. With the cameras, if you've got ND filters, you're going to need to use those. I normally use, because I'm in sunny Spain, I normally use either a 16 or a 32, and you can also get the polarizing filters as well, and that really does pop out the clouds and the blue sky. And that works a treat as well. So that's your basic setup. Play around with it a little bit if you need to on the settings on the camera, but I think those settings work really well for me. Once everything's connected, switch your receiver on. You got the mic mini here, press that on like so, a little green light will flash, and then you'll see on there it's actually connected. So that's mic 2, and this one here, do the same again for the second mic. Press it on, green light will come on, and then the green light will come on there. So you can now see that the two mics are connected to the receiver, and that by the cable going around to the adapter, that's connected to the Osmo Action 4, and when you press record, that will now start recording two sounds, one for the crash helmet for the vlogging and the other one from the motorbike exhaust. And then after that, once you've got the camera set up, as soon as you press record on the Osmo Action 4, it will record and go direct linked in to the two mic minis and the transmitter, and you'll start getting really good sound. I've got nothing on there at the moment because the SD card's not in there, so it's not recording. But then you can click one click and it'll switch off again and stop recording. Bear in mind though that when you do press that button, there is a slight delay because it will start recording from the front microphones, and then it will register that it's got an adapter, and then it will realize it's connected to the mic minis through the receiver. And so there'll be a slight delay of 3 or 4 seconds. So when you're vlogging, don't just press the camera and then start talking and vlogging straight away, because you'll get a lot of wind noise before it switches over onto the 2 mic minis and the receiver. So always wait 2, 3, 4 seconds and then start doing your vlogging and talking. Otherwise you're going to miss the first bit of what you're saying. And I've done that from experience. I've learned that system. So always wait a few seconds before you start talking. Okay, so that's how I set up the camera gear, how I connect everything together, the 2 mic minis, the settings on my Osmo Action 4, the adapter, how I put the mic minis inside the crash helmet, etc. Velcro the transmitters and etc. onto the crash helmet, the receivers on the side there will Velcro.